Welcome back to the channel. It's always a pleasure to have you here, especially those of you who care deeply about your health in your middle and golden years. Whether you're brand new or have been following along for a while now, I truly appreciate your presence and the trust you place in the content we share. In our last video, we explored 6 common fruits that could surprisingly increase the risk of stroke if not consumed the right way. After that episode, I received a lot of thoughtful feedback. Some folks were shocked. Others shared that they've already started making changes to their diet. That kind of response brings me real joy. Because health isn't something we should leave to chance. It's something we can take charge of every day, as long as we're equipped with the right knowledge. And from all that feedback, I realized something important. We need to keep expanding our awareness. Not just about fruits, but also about other foods we often think of as completely healthy, like vegetables. Now, this might come as a surprise, but some types of vegetables, although common and even considered staples, can actually have unwanted effects if not used properly. This is especially true for people with high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart-related concerns. So in today's video, we're going to look at 6 types of vegetables that could raise your risk of stroke if they aren't matched to your health condition or body's needs. But let me be clear. The goal isn't to make you anxious or fearful about food. It's to give you reliable, neutral, and helpful information so you can feel more confident in taking care of your health and your loved ones. Because every small choice we make today can lead to a much bigger difference tomorrow. Number 1. Spinach. For years, spinach has been a staple on just about every healthy food list. In the US, it shows up in salads, gets blended into morning smoothies, or lightly sautéed as a dinner side dish. And rightly so, spinach is packed with nutrients. Vitamin K to support blood clotting and bone health, folate for healthy cell function, and iron, which is essential for making red blood cells. But here's something many people don't realize, especially those of us in midlife and beyond. Raw spinach contains a fairly high amount of a compound called oxalate, which can create health issues if eaten too frequently without proper awareness. So what exactly is oxalate and why does it matter? Oxalate is a naturally occurring substance found in many foods. It's not toxic by itself. But if you consume large amounts, especially from high oxalate sources like raw spinach, your body might struggle to process it. Oxalate tends to bind with calcium in your body. When that happens too often, over time it can form tiny crystal-like particles, almost like grains of sand. This becomes a concern for your kidneys, which naturally slow down with age. In some cases, these crystals can increase the risk of kidney stones or even affect blood vessels, both of which may raise your risk for stroke if left unchecked. A real-life reality check. Healthy doesn't always mean harmless. I've heard from many folks who drank spinach smoothies every morning for months, thinking they were making a great health choice. But later, they began to experience back pain, fatigue, or were told by their doctor they had small kidney stones. Now, that doesn't mean spinach is harmful. It just means the way it was being used didn't match their body's needs or age. Dr. Melanie Honig from Harvard Medical School once shared in a seminar, "We don't need to eliminate spinach, but we do need to know when to adjust, especially for patients on blood thinners, calcium supplements, or those with kidney concerns." So how can we keep spinach as a health ally? It's simple. How you prepare it and how often you eat it makes all the difference. Here are some practical tips. Lightly cook your spinach. Steaming or sautéing helps remove most of the oxalates, making it easier on your digestion and your kidneys. Avoid eating raw spinach every day, especially in smoothies. If you do enjoy it raw, try limiting it to 1-2 times a week and switch up your greens regularly. Rotate with low oxalate greens like bok choy, romaine lettuce, or arugula. If you're taking medications, have kidney issues, or a history of kidney stones, check with your doctor before adding spinach regularly to your meals. Spinach can still be a fantastic food choice, when it's used at the right time and in the right way. The goal isn't to fear food, but to understand what your body needs and to adjust accordingly. That's what proactive health looks like. One meal, one mindful choice at a time. Number 2. Beets. There's no doubt about it, beets offer a lot of health benefits. They're rich in natural nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide, a compound that helps relax blood vessels and lower blood pressure. That's exactly why many health-conscious people in the U.S., especially those monitoring their cardiovascular health, have added beet juice to their daily routine. But here's the important question. Is this safe and effective for everyone, especially older adults and those already taking blood pressure medication? A study published in the Hypertension Journal by the American Heart Association pointed out a crucial concern. When blood pressure drops too low at night, a condition known as nocturnal hypotension, blood flow to the brain can decrease significantly. This raises the risk of transient ischemic attacks, mini strokes, and silent strokes that may go unnoticed. This can easily happen when someone is consistently taking blood pressure meds and also drinking pure beet juice daily, especially if consumed in the late afternoon or evening. Many older patients who began drinking beet juice to keep their blood pressure in check eventually started experiencing morning fatigue, dizziness, or even lightheadedness when standing up. The likely cause: their blood pressure had dropped too low during sleep without them realizing it. Another factor to consider: oxalate in beets. Just like spinach, beets also contain oxalates, though in smaller amounts. But if you're drinking strong, concentrated beet juice regularly, and especially if your kidneys aren't functioning as well as they used to, oxalates can build up and place added stress on your body's filtering system. So how can you enjoy beets safely as an older adult? The good news is, you don't need to give up beets entirely. The key lies in how much, when, and in what form you consume them. Here are a few practical tips. Limit how often you drink pure beet juice, especially if you're on blood pressure meds or often feel lightheaded in the morning. If you do drink beet juice, dilute it with water and have it earlier in the day, not at night. Choose cooked beets instead. Steamed or lightly roasted beets are great additions to meals and gentler on the body. If you're monitoring your blood pressure or have kidney issues, talk to your doctor before making beets a daily habit. Beets are absolutely a nutritious vegetable, full of potential benefits. But as our bodies change with age, making smart, well-timed choices is what helps us gain the benefits, without the unnecessary risks. And that's how older adults can take charge of their health, wisely and sustainably, one mindful habit at a time. Number 3. Garlic. When it comes to foods that are considered good for your health, garlic is definitely one of the most trusted names. Medical studies have shown that garlic can help lower blood lipids, improve circulation, boost immunity, and reduce inflammation. In the United States, many middle-aged and older adults use garlic as a natural supplement, especially in the form of raw garlic or concentrated garlic capsules. However, for those over 60, particularly individuals taking blood thinners such as aspirin, warfarin, clopidogrel Plavix, or combination antihypertensive medications, consuming raw garlic daily may not be as safe as they believe. Raw garlic contains allicin, a biologically active compound that contributes to its cholesterol-lowering and anti-inflammatory effects. However, allicin also slows blood clotting, meaning it makes the blood thinner. This can become risky when combined with blood-thinning medications. According to a clinical report published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, there have been cases where older patients experienced silent gastrointestinal bleeding or brain hemorrhages without warning signs, simply because they were taking strong blood thinners while consuming raw garlic every day. Clinical pharmacist Christina Adams from Cleveland Clinic once warned, "Many people think of garlic as just food, so they don't report it when asked about substances they're using. But in reality, at high doses or with daily use, garlic can seriously interact with prescription medications. That doesn't mean we have to eliminate garlic from our meals. What's needed is a change in how it's used and how often to suit our health conditions and medications. Here are some key points to keep in mind. Prioritize cooked garlic. When heated, such as in soups, stir-fries, or roasting, allicin's blood-thinning activity is significantly reduced, while most of garlic's other benefits are retained. Avoid consuming raw garlic daily, especially on an empty stomach or right before taking medications. Frequent raw garlic intake can raise the risk of bleeding, especially if your digestive system is sensitive or you have underlying conditions. If you regularly eat garlic or take garlic capsules, be sure to inform your doctor so they can monitor and adjust your medication dosage accordingly. Garlic is one of nature's valuable gifts for health. But as we age and medications become part of daily life, understanding and adjusting how we use garlic is the key to gaining its benefits without silent risks. The right choice, even with something as small as a clove of garlic, can make a big difference in long-term health. Number 4. Eggplant. Eggplant is a vegetable widely used in cuisines around the world. In the United States, you can easily find eggplant in grilled dishes, Mediterranean-style meals, or prepared with olive oil as a fiber-rich side dish. Many people consider eggplant a healthy food because it is low in calories, contains antioxidants, and supports digestion. However, a lesser-known point is that eggplant, like potatoes and tomatoes, belongs to a plant group called nightshades, and this group contains a natural compound called solanine. For most people, solanine is not an issue. But for some individuals with unstable blood pressure, blood circulation problems, or mild neurological conditions, consuming too much eggplant may cause unwanted reactions. Solanine, a natural compound that can affect brain blood circulation. Solanine is a glycocalloid found in the stems and fruits of many nightshade plants. In low doses, solanine usually does not affect healthy individuals. However, according to an analysis from the U.S. National Institute of Nutrition, solanine can cause mild vasoconstriction, meaning it causes blood vessels to narrow. If this happens in the brain's blood vessels, especially in individuals with a history of weak blood vessels or past transient ischemic attacks, TIAs, blood flow to the brain may temporarily decrease, causing dizziness, loss of balance, or a heavy head feeling after eating. In fact, some neurologists at Mayo Clinic have recorded cases of older patients experiencing symptoms such as brain fog, reduced concentration, or mild numbness in the neck area after eating eggplant for several consecutive meals in a week. When asked to stop consuming and monitored again, these symptoms disappeared. Advice for older adults: use eggplant properly and in moderation. For those with stable circulatory health, eggplant can still be part of a healthy diet. But if you or a loved one has a history of fluctuating blood pressure, reduced brain circulation, or is taking medications that support blood vessels, caution should be taken when consuming eggplant regularly. Some practical suggestions: do not eat raw eggplant. Solanine breaks down easily when thoroughly cooked, so it should be heat processed. Limit eggplant consumption to about 1–2 times per week and avoid using it continuously for many days. Alternate with vegetables more friendly to the circulatory system, such as pumpkin, carrots, beets, or broccoli. These do not contain solanine and support better blood circulation. As we age, being aware of small details like natural compounds in vegetables, such as solanine, helps us adjust our diet more wisely and in line with our current health. Not every food suits every body, but with understanding, you can make the right choice, gently, proactively, and safely. Number 5. Soybean sprouts. Soybean sprouts are a food loved by many for being light, easy to digest, and rich in fiber. In many meal plans designed for weight maintenance or for increasing plant-based intake, soybean sprouts often appear as a good choice. However, for those past middle age, especially women going through or after menopause. Using soybean sprouts regularly requires careful consideration. What makes soybean sprouts different is that they contain a relatively high amount of phytoestrogens. These are natural plant compounds that can mimic the activity of estrogen in the body. At low levels and with occasional use, phytoestrogens may help support bone density and gently balance hormones. But when consumed in large quantities, especially over long periods, they may interfere with the body's natural hormonal signaling. In a report published by the North American Menopause Society, experts noted excessive intake of phytoestrogens from food, combined with ongoing hormone replacement therapy, HRT, may increase the risk of blood clots or affect lipid metabolism. Additionally, in men, especially those with metabolic concerns such as insulin resistance, abdominal fat, or lipid disorders, consuming large amounts of soybean sprouts over a long period may slightly affect testosterone levels and body fat composition, although this varies by individual. At Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, a team of endocrinologists documented the case of a 67-year-old woman on regular HRT who also drank soy juice and ate soybean sprouts daily to maintain her figure. After several months, she experienced mild headaches, and blood tests showed a slight but unusual increase in clotting factors. When advised to reduce dietary phytoestrogens, her indicators gradually returned to normal. The good news is, you don't have to completely eliminate soybean sprouts from your meals. The key lies in proper preparation and controlling frequency of intake. Use soybean sprouts after cooking, such as stir-frying, steaming, or quick blanching. Cooking helps reduce part of the phytoestrogen activity and makes them easier to digest for older adults. Avoid consuming large amounts daily, especially if you're taking blood thinners, hormone-regulating medications, or undergoing hormone replacement therapy. If you have thyroid issues, hormonal imbalances, or are being treated with hormone-related medications, consult your doctor before regularly adding soybean sprouts to your diet. Soybean sprouts are still a healthy food when used correctly. In middle age and beyond, being thoughtful with even the smallest food choices is the key to maintaining long-term health without having to give up your favorite dishes. Number 6. Pickled vegetables. In many cultures, including the United States, pickled vegetables are an essential part of meals. From pickles and kimchi to other fermented greens, these foods not only enhance flavor but are also believed to support digestion due to the beneficial bacteria produced during natural fermentation. However, there is one thing that many older adults often overlook. Most pickled vegetables today, especially store-bought packaged products, contain very high levels of sodium, salt. When you consume too much sodium, the body tends to retain water to balance the salt concentration in the blood. In older adults, blood vessels no longer expand and contract as efficiently as before, and the kidney's ability to filter and excrete salt also declines over time. As a result, blood pressure may rise during the night, especially if salty foods are eaten at dinner or close to bedtime. A report from the American Heart Association once noted that nocturnal hypertension, a spike in blood pressure during the night, is one of the clearest risk factors for stroke during sleep, a dangerous event that often comes without early warning signs. The case of Mr. Daniel R., 69 years old from Texas, is a typical example. During a routine checkup, he told his doctor that he ate kimchi every night because he believed it was good for the gut. After monitoring his nighttime blood pressure with an automatic device, the doctor found that his blood pressure spiked suddenly around 2-3 a.m., right during the transition to deep sleep. Later test results also showed that his kidney function was beginning to decline. Pickled vegetables can still be part of a healthy diet if you know how to manage salt intake and choose the right time to eat them. Here are some practical guidelines. Avoid eating pickled vegetables in the evening or near bedtime to reduce pressure on the circulatory system at night. If buying packaged products, read the nutrition label carefully. Ideally choose those with under 500–600 mg of sodium per serving. Products with over 1,000 mg per serving should be strictly limited. Make your own pickled vegetables at home with a lower salt ratio, or rinse them briefly in water before eating to reduce excess sodium. If you have a history of high blood pressure, kidney disease, or are taking diuretics, talk directly to your doctor before making salty and sour foods a daily habit. Strong flavor does not always equal big health benefits. As we age, balance becomes more important between the foods we love and what our bodies can safely handle. Making small adjustments, like managing salt intake and timing meals properly, can be a simple yet effective step toward protecting your heart and reducing the risk of silent strokes. Number 7. Tomatoes. After reviewing vegetables that may affect blood pressure or circulation, tomatoes are a typical example of a very good food that still needs to be used with understanding, especially for older adults. No one denies the benefits of tomatoes. They are a rich source of lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that plays a positive role in reducing inflammation, supporting heart health, and protecting blood vessels. In many dietary recommendations for older adults in the United States, tomatoes are often listed as a priority option, and this is completely supported by science. However, there is one factor that few people pay attention to. Tomatoes contain a relatively high amount of potassium, even higher than bananas, a fruit well known for its potassium. For those with stable kidney health, this is not a problem. But if you are monitoring kidney function or have high potassium levels in your blood, consuming tomatoes too frequently, especially in the form of juice, concentrated sauce, or canned soup, may cause unwanted effects. Why should older adults monitor potassium intake? As the kidneys begin to function less efficiently with age, which is quite common after age 60, the body finds it harder to eliminate excess potassium. If potassium accumulates in the blood, it can affect the heart's electrical activity, leading to arrhythmia, heart palpitations, or, in rare cases, increased risk of stroke and cardiac arrest. One recorded case from Cleveland Clinic showed a 68-year-old woman experienced unusual fatigue and irregular heartbeat despite no change in her medication. After thorough testing, doctors discovered a significant increase in her blood potassium level. The cause? She drank tomato juice every morning and ate tomato soup at lunch, without realizing she had been consuming nearly double the recommended daily potassium intake for several consecutive weeks. So should tomatoes be completely avoided? The answer is no. Tomatoes still have high nutritional value, and lycopene is even better absorbed when tomatoes are cooked. The issue is not the tomatoes themselves, but the amount and frequency of use, especially when combined with other high potassium sources. A few simple but practical reminders. Prioritize cooked tomatoes instead of regularly drinking concentrated juice. Read product labels when using canned tomato sauces or soups, as many types contain high potassium levels that exceed the recommended amount per serving. Alternate with other vegetables lower in potassium such as cucumber, zucchini, cabbage, or romaine lettuce. If you have a history of kidney disease or have been warned about potassium, consult with a doctor or dietitian before making tomatoes a regular daily food. When young, healthy foods can be used freely. But in middle age and older age, understanding what your body needs and in what limits is the most effective and sustainable way to care for your health. Tomatoes can still accompany you if used proactively and wisely. We all know that no food is completely bad or perfect. Everything depends on how we use it, in the specific context of each body and each stage of life. When we are young, our cardiovascular, kidney, and nervous systems work resiliently and can self-regulate well against many minor impacts from food. But once we enter middle or older age, being proactive with what we eat is not just a smart choice. It becomes an essential part of living responsibly for ourselves. I hope this video doesn't make you feel anxious, but rather helps you see that by adjusting just a few small habits each day, you can reduce silent risks and protect your health more confidently. If you find today's sharing valuable, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Have you faced any difficulties when trying to change your eating habits? Was there any vegetable on this list that surprised you? Or do you have any practical adjustment tips you'd like to share with the community? Please don't hesitate to leave a comment. Your experience might be helpful to someone else on the same journey. And if you'd like to continue receiving content that's gentle yet practical like this, don't forget to hit follow so you won't miss upcoming videos. Thank you for listening and spending your precious time with me today. Wishing you good health, and may you always walk in step with your body every day.